Welcome to Our Highest Work, a podcast about spiritually based business success, and where we are building an online community of mutual support to support and encourage one another in continually remembering and following our highest calling. I welcome you here. My name is George Cow, and I have an exciting episode to share with you today. We're going to be talking about finding and reconnecting with your life purpose. And I know that there have been thousands and thousands of books over the years about finding and reconnecting with life purpose. And I've read some of them, a few of them at least, and I have thought a lot about purpose. Of course, this podcast is called Our Highest Work. So, in order to understand what is our highest work, we can't talk about that without talking about life purpose. And so I have a different way, I should say, of thinking about this, and I'll share with you this three-part framework that I've come up with that encompasses everything I've learned thus far about life purpose. It's my understanding, and I hope that it is beneficial to you. I look forward to what your thoughts might be. So let me begin with a quote. This one is by Neale Donald Walsch. And the quote is, "The deepest secret is that life is not a process of discovery, but a process of creation. You are not discovering yourself, but creating yourself anew. Seek, therefore, not to find out who you are, but seek to determine who you want to be." And I like that a lot. It's a wonderful perspective. So, when it comes to life purpose, the reason why we're talking about this, it seems such a cliche topic sometimes, but I really don't think we can come back to it often enough. I think that it's worth coming back to on a daily basis, because nothing can motivate you. Nothing can give you as much energy every day as being clear about the purpose of your life. Because once you're clear, you have something to work towards. So I ask you, given the Neale Donald Walsch quote I just read, what kind of life do you want to create? And what kind of world do you want to help create? Because your answers to these questions are hints to the answer of what is the purpose of life for you. And also your answer to the question of what kind of life you want to create, what kind of world you want to live in, affects and deeply matters to your choice. It affects your choice of every area of your life, right? And it also even affects how social policy is created. I have another quote for you that I want to read, and this one is by Robert F. Kennedy, Bobby Kennedy, and he said this: "Too much and too long, we seem to have surrendered community excellence and community values in the mere accumulation of material things." Right, let's talk about the purpose of life and how society perceives the purpose of life. So Bobby Kennedy goes on to say, "Our gross national product, GNP, if we should judge America by that, counts air pollution and cigarette advertising and ambulances to clear our highways of carnage. It counts special locks for our doors and the jails for those who break them. It counts the destruction of our redwoods and the loss of our natural wonder in chaotic sprawl. It counts napalm and the cost of a nuclear warhead. It counts armored cars for police who fight riots in our streets. And it counts television programs, I would say now the internet, websites, and video games, which glorify violence in order to sell toys to our children. Yet the gross national product does not allow for the health of our children, the quality of their education, or the joy of their play. It does not include the beauty of our poetry, or the strength of our marriages, the intelligence of our public debate, or the integrity of our public officials. It measures neither our wit nor our courage, neither our wisdom nor our learning, neither our compassion nor our devotion to our country and our world, I'd say. It measures everything, in short, except that which makes life worthwhile." And so that is the central question for each and every one of us. And when we clarify that, we are a member of society, and it begins to clarify for society what is the purpose of life, because that determines so much. So before I actually dive into this purpose of life question, I always like to do a little marketing tip. And the reason I keep coming back to this, I always share a marketing tip when I'm talking about spiritual growth or life, personal development, is because I'm always trying to see how we can integrate our spiritual lives and our business lives, right? So today's marketing tip, marketing discussion here really is about niche, right? And you probably have thought about this for yourself, but I want to share with you a perspective. So the term niche in ecology, right, environmental ecology, refers to an or biology, I might say, refers to an organism having evolved to serve a particular role in nature. And I would say that's the same with you. You have all this life experience, and maybe you have some training, you have success and failures in life that have evolved you to serve a particular role in the world through your business, through your career. And to be a few words about niche is that when you can keep working on clarifying what role have you evolved to serve. One way to think about it is, what kind of people have you been able to help more fully, okay, most fully? A lot of people say, a lot of businesses, especially coaches and healers, say that, oh, I serve everyone. My methodology is good for people of all ages. I serve people who are going through all kinds of problems because this methodology is really powerful. It's really all-encompassing. There are lots of problems with this. One problem is that people don't really believe you when you say that you can help everyone with all kinds of problems. The more narrower the kind of problem you help to solve, or the kind of transcendence you help someone to achieve, the narrower the goal or the problem, the more people believe you. Okay? Because truthfully, the more qualified you are not qualified to help everyone with everything. But if you notice what kind of people in your business that you can actually most help, what kind of clients get the most results out of what you do, not only what kind of people get the most results out of what you do, but what kind of problems in their life or their health or relationships or business or whatever, what kind of problem you have been able to most help them solve, or what kind of goal you've been able to most help them achieve. You clarify your niche, and you become more and more qualified when you say, this is exactly what I do. Because you become more focused on helping that type of person solve that type of problem. And therefore you get rave results. You get rave reviews from those people because those problems have been able to be solved because you've gotten so good at it. You become specialized at it. Right? And also you become energized because you realize, oh my gosh, I help this type of person solve this type of problem, and I do it really, really well. When you do something really well and people appreciate you for it, you become energized. That's why it's so important to narrow your niche. You get qualified to do it, you get energized to do it, you become trustworthy, because now you're not just saying BS in your marketing. Oh, I help all kinds of people do all kinds of things. No, I help this type of person do this type of thing. And also you become memorable, because that person who's one problem you've helped them solve will tell other people, oh, if you have this kind of problem, go to this person, go to you, right? Because you do this really, really well. You become memorable. Word of mouth becomes much more possible. And your marketing becomes clear that this is exactly what you kind of do. And clarity is attractive, interestingly, even for other types of problems that you don't solve. So, for example, at this point in my business, I tell people that I specialize in helping coaches, and I really should get even more narrower, right? It takes courage and it takes experience to get even narrower. So I say that I help coaches with their marketing, particularly solopreneurs, people who want to are happy having a business where they don't have to have this, six-figure, seven-figure business, but they want to meet their financial needs in a very happy way. And they want to truly feel meaning in their work and in their business, and have lots of work-life balance and lots of fun. So I'm getting narrower and narrower, but what's interesting is even people who are not coaches come to me and says, can you help me too? Because clarity in your marketing becomes attractive. And by the way, this is a constant journey. I am also continuing to clarify what types of problems I best help people solve and what types of people I best help, right? So I invite that for you as well. So let me now go on to the topic of today, which is about life purpose. And you're going to hear a lot of ideas in the next 20 or so minutes. In every one of our episodes, I share lots of ideas with you. But what I want to encourage you to do is to listen for that one best idea. In this episode, there is one nugget of wisdom. Hopefully there are many, but listen for that one nugget of wisdom that most resonates with you. Something that you will remember, that you want to remember, and apply to your life this week. Okay, because if you can do that with every episode you hear, with every article you read today, apply just one thing, you will have gotten farther than most people who read articles and listen to episodes. Most people try to capture so much and try to apply too much. If you just apply one thing, you'll be further ahead than those people actually. So I encourage you to do that. Okay, so all right, let me go on to the first thing about purpose of life. Okay, I mentioned that I have a three-part framework to share with you. And the first part of the framework, what's the purpose of life? Lots of philosophers have covered this over the years, and one of them is Abraham Maslow. You may have heard of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So first, let me just briefly share with you my three-part framework. I'm going to share with you the what is the purpose of life, the why, and the how. Very, very briefly, kind of a brief overview. And then we can discuss this in future episodes if there's interest. And the what do we work towards? What is the purpose of life? Okay, so Abraham Maslow gave us a great model of this. The hierarchy, Maslow, M-A-S-L-O-W, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I encourage you just to do an internet search for Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and there's lots of wonderful images you'll see for his pyramid and basically his pyramid goes something like this. At the bottom of the pyramid, which everyone needs to meet first, is basic physical well-being. Things such as food and water and sleep and freedom from pain, right? The second level of the pyramid is basic safety needs, having a safe home to live in, and also having basic financial security. And so why is this a hierarchy? Is that if you are starving, if you are just incredibly thirsty, if you can't even keep your eyes open because you need sleep so much, or if you're in deep, great pain, that is much more important to you than feeling like you have a safe home to live in. You can't even get food to eat or water. So that's why the food, water, sleep, and freedom from pain is really the first level, basic physical well-being. And then the second level is basic safety needs, a safe home to live in, a safe neighborhood to live in, and the basic financial resources, right, to meet your basic needs, right? The third level is love and belonging. Love and belonging. And this is having a feeling of social well-being. Friends, having some friends, perhaps having family, having people you feel care about you and that you care about them. And again, that's a third level, right? So if you don't even feel like you have a safe home, a safe neighborhood to live in, you don't even any basic financial resources to meet your food, water, and needs, you can't even think about love and belonging, right? So that it's those things, and the love and belonging. And then the next level is self-confidence. So self-esteem and social esteem, feeling like you're respected by other people and feeling like you respect yourself. And then the highest level in Maslow's hierarchy is becoming the ideal version of you. So this is where art comes in, and inventions, and entrepreneurship, and becoming the best parent, the best leader, right? So that's after you're able to really meet these needs when you can really focus on this top higher. So Maslow said that our purpose of life is to keep going, building upon these levels until we reach self-actualization. So that's the purpose of life, is to go towards the top of that pyramid right there, hierarchy, the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And depending on where you are in this hierarchy is where your natural motivation is, as I mentioned before. If you don't feel you have love and belonging in your life, that's what you're going to continually yearn for and work on. Okay, and if you're yearning for that, chances are you probably have your basic physical needs met. That's why you're yearning for the love and belonging. And once you have that met, then you're yearning for achievement and confidence, etc. Right? And once you feel basic self-confidence and basic social esteem, then you're yearning to become the best version of you, right? And create something, create great art in the world, etc. So there's another model that I want to share that I think is really, really relevant too, which is the model by Tom Rath, R-A-T-H, and the book that where he shared this model is called Wellbeing, which I highly recommend. It's a quick read, but it comes with lots. It comes from a lot of research, and the summary, the very, very brief summary, and you can even go to do an internet search for Wellbeing Tom Rath book summary, and you'll come up with some great book summaries. But he shares 5 sort of parts of the pie that creates overall well-being in our life. And one is career well-being, which is basically feeling like you are in a job or a business that utilizes your strengths on a regular basis, that where you're working towards your passion in that career, and where you're able to socialize with people that you enjoy. So career well-being. Second one is social well-being, which is, it's also connected to, you know, people in your work, but also outside of work. Do you feel like you are, do you feel loved, right? You feel like you have someone to love, and you feel loved, and you have adequate social time. Third one is financial well-being, which, just as it says, you feel financially secure, financially confident. Fourth one is physical well-being, where you're really taking care of your physical and mental health. And fifth one is community well-being, which is your sense of contributing to the community of which you're a part, which can be your local community, or it can be an online community. Okay, so it's a sense of contribution and volunteering. So again, Tom Rath, well-being, career well-being, social well-being, financial, physical, and community well-being. And you can go online and search book summary, and that's what you'll find some great information there. So so this is the one part of the framework of purpose of life, is what to work towards, and whether you're thinking about the Maslow's hierarchy, where you're working upwards from basic physical needs all the way to love and belonging, self-esteem, all the way to self-actualization, or you're thinking about the circular idea of balancing everything, balancing your financial, career, social, physical contribution. This is one way of thinking of the purpose of life. Okay, now before I go on to the second one, I want to encourage you to comment on this episode. If you happen to be live here watching this with me, I definitely welcome you to comment. I so appreciate seeing your comments whenever I can see them, especially while I'm recording these. So please feel free to comment actively while you're watching this. It really is a great encouragement for me. Okay, so let's go on to the second part of the framework, which is the why of life purpose. So some people say that the purpose of life is to live and learn and become all that you can be, and I would say that's part of the first part of the framework, Maslow's hierarchy, or the Tom Rath well-being circle. Okay, but then what's the point? Is it just to keep going up this chain and self-actualization? Is that it? Or just balance the circles? Is that it? Why? The why behind these achievements and this progress. And I would say the why is the development of your soul. So that's the second portion of my framework, is the soul development, or soul happiness. And this, I would say, is the longest term view of your existence. My belief, perhaps you share this as well, is that we don't ever die. You never die. You just simply change the vehicle of your consciousness. You shed this body. This is a car that you're driving, a vehicle that you're using right now of your soul, your consciousness. And once this goes away, you get freed up. Your consciousness becomes free of physical constraints, and you have a different level of perception. There's a bunch of books out there that describe these kinds of experiences, and near-death experiences and communications from the beyond, etc. But this is my belief. I welcome you to share yours. But even if you don't believe this, You can still think in terms of soul development or character development, which is ongoing and never ending. It's a longer-term view of life purpose. One way to say this is that our soul's development is about growing in virtues. Growing in virtues. And in my research, I've been delighted to find that there's actually scientific social science that talks about virtue development. And the one I want to point, the research I want to point you towards is by Martin Seligman. He is one of the co-founders of positive psychology, which is positive psychology is a school of thought that's aiming to balance out mainstream psychology. Mainstream psychology talks about people's disorders and mental illnesses, and it is such a downer to study mainstream psychology. And positive psychology has come into really powerful credibility in the past 10 years. And Martin Seligman, positive psychology, you can just do an internet search on this. Martin Seligman and Christopher Peterson, they're scientists, social scientists, who came up with something called the character strengths and virtues diagnostic. Character strengths and virtues diagnostic. And you can actually go and take their test. It's online. There's a free version, and at this time of this recording, there's a free version. There's a $20 version that gives you more results, and there's a $40 version that gives you even more results. You can go to www.viame.org. V as in values, I as in in. VIA stands for Values in Action. So VIAME.org, and you can take the test there. And they created this handbook called the Character Strengths and Virtues Handbook that they are hoping to become a positive psychology alternative to the very mainstream DSM, the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. And what's amazing about this Character Strengths and Virtues, it talks about things like wisdom and temperance and humanity, kindness, and transcendence, and they have 24 virtues. They have these list of 24 virtues that they have studied for people all over the world seem to value, and they have had people from all around the globe take lots and lots of people. I don't know how many, but this is a major social science research. Have people all over the globe take these tests of virtues, and they are proposing that each person, because of their life experiences and because of their genetics, has certain strengths in certain virtues. And if you focus on growing those virtues within you and utilizing them in your everyday life and all the aspects of your life, you become much happier. The way I think about it is that, as I think about it in terms of the longest term of the soul, which is eternity, which is growth in these virtues, which is why I'm so happy that there is social science that has created this this catalog of virtues. So I invite you to take a look. You can even just go to Wikipedia and search character strengths and virtues, and there's a Wikipedia article on it. Okay, so finally, that's the second part. So again, the first part of my life purpose framework is the what of life purpose, which is, you can think of it as balancing out your physical well-being, your financial well-being, your true livelihood, your relationships, your contribution, your mission, or going up the Maslow's hierarchy is another way. So the what of life purpose is, what do we do? What do we work on, right? The second one is, well, why do we work on these things? Oh, we work on all these things because they contribute to our wisdom, which is eternal. They contribute to our ability to love, which is eternal and can ever grow. It contributes to our humility, which can ever become more and more wise about who we are in the grand scheme of things. It contributes to our connection to the divine, which is ever growing and ever transcending, right? It contributes to our appreciation of beauty and our gratitude, right? Those are forever. So the working on the Maslow's hierarchy contributes to the forever things that we can always work on, which is virtues and character. And finally, the third part of my life purpose framework is the now, the happiness of the now, which is the shortest term. So you can think of it in terms of this. The first part of the framework, the Maslow's hierarchy, etc., is the middle term of the human life. The midterm, I think of it as the midterm, is the human life. The why of life purpose, which is the soul development, is the eternal, the longest term of your consciousness. And then now I want to take it down to the very, very shortest term, which is this moment, and this moment, and this moment, and this moment. You can actually find happiness and meaning and life purpose in every moment. And I used to think that, gosh, I'm so confused about life purpose. Is it really the growth in virtues, or is it the mindfulness and all the teaching of being here in the present? Is that life purpose, or is it life purpose to achieve, to build a wonderful business, to have true livelihood? Now I realize it's all three, depending on how you look at it. Is it midterm? Is it the longest term? Or is it the now, the now, the now, the now? And so I have kind of used this framework to put it all together. And the now happiness, the present moment awareness, is basically what all the school of mindfulness is all about, right? It's about learning to pay attention in every moment. And a couple of things I want to share with you in terms of what you can actually focus on every moment is to focus on three things. Focus on gratitude. Actually, the first thing to focus on is mindfulness. It's to be remembering, to be conscious that you're right here, and that you're breathing, and that you're right here in this moment, and that this is a gift. So that's the second thing. So mindfulness is number one. So being able to focus enough to recognize the current moment, mindfulness. The second thing to focus on in the current moment is gratitude. So once you remember that you're thinking right now, remember that this is a gift. You know, you could have died in this very moment. You could. Something struck you, a heart attack, or no, but you're still alive right now. Be grateful. Be grateful for everything that's around you that you've been given. This computer that I'm using that allows me to communicate with you. This video you're watching, that you have a computer to watch this video. How wonderful. You have electricity to watch this video. How wonderful is that? Gratitude in the present moment. And the third thing to focus on in the now is excellence. Excellence, which is, all right, how can you be your most excellent self? Have good posture, have a gentle smile on your face. Do whatever you're doing right now. If you're watching this video or listening to this podcast, listen with excellence. Try to find that one nugget, as I said, that you can take away and actually apply. If you're doing work, if it's tedious work, be mindful. Oh, present moment, tedious work. Be grateful that you even have work to do, that you even have enough of the Maslow's hierarchy to even do work, and then to be excellent at even this tedious task of whatever you're doing. If it's tedious. If it's not, then enjoy it and be excellent at it. Right? There are lots of books that have influenced me in this mindfulness, and I will be bringing, I will actually be summarizing a lot of books in this podcast. I'll be summarizing them in the coming episodes. So finally, so what is the purpose of life, right? The purpose of life is to develop our self-actualization in terms of Maslow's hierarchy, or to balance out our well-being for the purpose of our virtues development and our soul growth by focusing now on being mindful, grateful, and excellent in the present moment. So I'm hoping that this framework helps you get this comprehensive picture of things, and maybe even make it useful for you on a daily basis. It's very helpful for me to be able to think in this way. I hope it's helpful for you as well. So as we end this episode, what is that? What is one nugget? Or maybe you took a bunch of notes. I would love to see what your notes are, and you could comment on our episode page. If you're just listening on the podcast, you're not on our episode page, you can go to ourhighestwork.com/5. This is episode 5. And let me share with me your notes, because I always love to know what have my listeners and watchers really resonated with in terms of the content. And share with me if there's one thing you would do differently as a result of hearing this. Maybe you have a question, an ongoing challenge or struggle about life purpose. What is your question? I'd love to help answer that if I can, or others in this community might also help answer that as well. I look forward to your comments. If you'd like to be reminded to join our live episodes, I so appreciate your live presence, and you can be reminded via email by going to ourhighestwork.com and just join our mailing list there. I always send out an email before each live episode. And if you found this episode to be worthwhile, I encourage you to share this with someone else who may also benefit? Is there someone in your life who is struggling with the question of life purpose? Well, or who's a philosopher who loves thinking about this kind of stuff? Well, share this with them. Or even just share this generally on social media. I always think about when I hear a message, I don't just let it end with me. I pass it on to my network. So do that. Pass this on to your network as well. Lastly, I just want to thank those who have been leaving reviews of this podcast in iTunes. I'm so grateful to Genevieve is one of them. Jeff Brown from Read to Lead podcast left a wonderful review as well. Denise Rushing, I should say Genevieve from Dow Now, thank you. Tomar Levine, thank you. Mike Wolpert, thanks. Val Nelson, Mike Hancox, and there was an anonymous review as well. Thank you also. So thank you so much. If you want to leave a review for this podcast, you can go to ourhighestwork.com/reviews. And allow me to finally end this podcast episode with a truth that I remind myself on a regular basis, and it's this. You can never fail so much. You can never screw things up for yourself so much that your destiny is compromised. Your eternal destiny, where you are headed, no matter what you do and how badly you screw up, you are headed for complete joy. You are headed for complete, secure love and creativity and empowerment and wisdom. There's nothing you can do that screws it up, that your eternal destiny up like that. You are completely secure. So go forward today and live in your highest purpose. Live with the most gratitude, that knowing that all will be well, and aim to be excellent in every moment today that you are mindful.